This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and this episode is Peg, You Own My Soul, and Other Depraved Tales. These songs are focused on the Morphogene Eurorack sampler. Now, the first song the Ghost ever did with the Eurorack sampler was If Love Has No Ceiling, Why's My Heart on the Floor? From Dark Ghost Spider Puppets, which is out there on SoundCloud as a full record, and it's on our LinkTree. You can check it out. We're very excited with the use of the sampler. We never bought a sampler before. It's our first entry into sampling, and we know a lot of people use like Hi, or they use other types of samplers on their actual DAWs. But the cool thing about this Eurorack sampler from Make Noise is it's visual and it's knob per function, and it's kind of like using a mini Moog or using any kind of controlled voltage Eurorack type of module. So it's more feel based than visually based. I mean, it does have visual cues, but you can't really look at the sample on a grid like you would in a DAW or in a Kai or anything like that. It's more like the way you would work out creating patches or sound design on a Eurorack, which gives you a totally different way of approaching things. So this particular song is similar to another song we put out a couple of days ago, which is called Miss Wind Over Electric. The thing that's the same about both songs is we're using a sample of a Phantom Electric Ghost track from maybe 3-4 years ago called The Chamber. Before we introduced Josephine Electric, we did all these sound paintings, and it was primarily using a Juno GI at the time, and using its ability to record. It has a multi-track recorder, so that was our first use of that Roland recorder, and we built a bunch of tracks where we layered a lot of Juno GI sounds, which are kind of like Integra sounds. About 1,300 different patches or pads in that synth, and it was a song that we kind of forgot about. Sometimes we go back and we listen to what we had done previously. So what we did is we actually sampled that song, about 3 minutes of it, and then we started playing with the Morphogene. And the first effort on that was Miss Wind Over Electric, which is also included here. And then we changed the timing on it, and we changed the settings so it actually loops more consistently for this other song called Nothing to Hold, or You Can't Bone Alone. Now, You Can't Bone Alone is different in its content than Miss Wind Over Electric, was kind of like the origin of Josephine. We've kind of hinted, like we talked about before, like, well, how did she become a ghost? So something happened to her. And that continues this whole story. And in that song, she's like at the graveyard during her funeral, looking at the people who were at her funeral, but they're actually responsible for her death. And she's looking at them from the other side. Nothing to Hold is kind of a story that's probably prior to that moment, where she's talking about she had this, relationship with somebody, but what is a love that leaves you nothing to hold and like nothing to hang on to? So sometimes there's you have a situation where there's more passion on your side than the other side, that you've more feeling towards somebody that you thought they were somebody that they weren't, or you thought they cared about you more than they did, and then you put more into the relationship than the other person. And so this song is kind of talking about, at the end of the day, you can't have sex by yourself in a real satisfying way, because there's things you can do, but Joseph's kind of saying, well, you can't really bone alone. You got to have somebody you can hold on to. And Josephine kind of goes in a very, brash, maybe not as eloquent way of talking, but that's how she sees the world. It's kind of clear to her, that if you're in love, then you probably should be boning. If you're not boning, what's going on? So Josephine's kind of a very direct in that way. And we thought it was very interesting. We changed her voice with the not the morphogene, but the Roland VT4. We pitched it up a little bit more. It's a little more cartoony, and a little more like our idol Prince on Camille. So sometimes we've taken Josephine's voice and we pitch it down and give it kind of a voluptuous nature, or we pitch it up and give it kind of a cartoon nature. This one's kind of more in the cartoon side. We always run the VT4, the vocal transformer, through our MX1 mixer. And so we've got it on a filter, and there's multiple filters on the MX1. A lot of times we use the digital delay, but we kind of left the delay off and used the filter instead. There's probably 8 different types of filters that you can use. And we've kind of run through them over the years, and we kind of go back to different ones. But it gives you a different tone. It gives you ability to kind of shape the sound. And so we very interested in how that works. And again, the make noise morphogene, we were able to make a tighter loop. That's part of using the morph command and also using the controlled voltage to take a loop that occurs in a steady fashion and doesn't degrade. And we're learning more about the way the morphogene works. There's some aspects of it where you, like we had talked before, you can do a loop and it continually starts to deconstruct itself, or all kinds of weirdness starts to happen, but you can kind of stop that from happening. In this particular song, we got a real tight hold of the splice or the gene and got it on a loop where it's not degrading. And it's acting more like a normal sampler. But part of the nature of the morphogene is the morph is part of the nature of the instrument. So it does have a tendency, if you don't try to stop it from doing what it naturally wants to do, it will start to deconstruct the loop and start to kind of make it fall apart, which if you go back to the first song we were talking about, If Love Has No Ceiling, Why Is My Heart on the Floor, that kind of is a good example of what the morphogene can do with that kind of sample. And we have this haunting kind of ghost thing going on in that track if you go back and listen to it. And so maybe I'll include that song here as a reference point so people understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's this song, it shows you how differently you can use, or how you can take one sample and change it so much that you can use it in 2 different songs. Like I said, the chamber is the base of both of these songs. Nothing to hold and Miss Wind Over Electric. It's sped up a little bit more, and you can't bone alone. So where it's at a lower BPM rate in Miss Wind Over Electric. And then we also changed the timing on Nothing to Hold. It was running kind of fast at the beginning, and then we actually then bring it down to like a dirge speed at the end. And then we introduce our technique of using a Mother 32 with a Roland Juno GI keytar kind of patch. And we like to play this kind of synthesized guitar and do it with some emotion and character. And that's part of what this song is about. If you're into the Ghost, check us out on all the streaming services. And if you really want to chat with us, you can send us a voice memo with some information. We interview bands from all over the world. And if we would appreciate it if you want to be a supporter of the program, you can support us at, with 99 cents, $4.99 or $9 a month. And we'll send you some private links of our SoundCloud tracks that are deeper tracks. And we'll talk to you later. Thank you for listening to Peg. And we're going to keep on writing music because that's what we feel. And that's what we are. Music is everything we're into. Thank you.
I don't think you know how how much you own my soul. I can't go alone. Have nothing worth the love that leaves you nothing to hold. I don't think you know how much you own my soul. You can't go alone. You can't go with love that leaves you nothing to hold. So knows your whereabouts unknown. I don't think you know how freezing cold the altered soul leaves you with nothing to hold. I don't think you know how much it controls my soul out of freezing cold. That love that leaves you with nothing to hold. There's nothing to know. Don't think you would know how much you control my soul. All unknown. Yeah, your whereabouts, no one knows where you go. But it's all about control. I don't think you know how much you gotta hold. I don't think you know your world's freezing cold. You can't go alone. You can't borrow like a love that you can't hold, that you can't know, and it only leaves you alone. I don't think you know how much you done for my mental. Oh, you can't alone. Can't love a soul that you can't hold. I don't think you know how much you control my very soul. I'm still digging out of that hole. I'm still digging out of that hole. And if you didn't know how much control you had over my soul. And if you didn't know, Josephine can't go alone with a soul that she can't hold. As if you didn't know everything in your world gathered here today. Oh, you're spitting on my gravestone. You think it took Josephine away. The first world and you're laughing, and you got no grace. But midnight in your bedroom, darling, you should be very afraid. This ghost doesn't know her place. My sex life was a disaster, and that's why we're all gathered here today. Standing over this window for electric, and you're spitting on my grave. One man in your dark room. Oh, you got a lot to be afraid, because I'm reaching out done. I get the brave wretch from the grave. But my sex life was a disaster. That's why I don't gathered here today. Stand over this window for electrics. Oh, earthly grave. Yeah, you're the brave rich. Oh, you got a lot to be afraid for. 'Cause this window for electric, there's nothing more to look afraid. I'm gonna be reaching out to you every night, darling dear. Oh, my rooftop, darling. Oh, you got a lot to fear. My sex life was a disaster, and that's why I gathered here today. Standing over this window for electric. Oh, earthly grave. Well, you depraved wretch. But you got a lot to be afraid. That Miss Lindover Electric is gonna be reaching out from the grave. You got a lot to be afraid for. If this can't call me home, you can't leave me out there, darling. You don't have to worry about me anymore. I was a disaster. That's why you're gathered here today. Standing over this window for electrics. Oh, earthly grave. Oh, you depraved wretch. You should be afraid. Cause this darling electric is gonna be reaching out from the grave. Oh my darling, you should be afraid. Cause this window for electric is gonna be reaching out from the grave. Oh, you're all gathered here. Oh, today. The stand over wrestling over electrics. The earth